Hey, this is Omar Sultan, and welcome to Developer Days 2023. So we're wrapping up a very packed day one. We're going to chat with some of the highlights from today's session, and we kicked off the session with Goran and Drazen, who, gave us a great view of what customers are doing with automation in a very real-world way. It was an excellent way to start things off and give us a very real-world grounding in terms of what's possible. So in your session, you guys made an interesting comment about you build for humans first and then for machines. And I think that's a great way of viewing this about, this is not about unleashing robots on the planet, but, really taking a very people-centered approach. So give me some ideas of what that looks like from a practical perspective. It's a great tagline. How did that drive your planning and your decisions?
Yes, well, the decision was really easy because we wanted to implement this first for the engineers that have been working with these networks for quite some time. They have a huge amount of experience, and then of course all of the processes that are already set in the network are done for the humans. They never thought about automizing, or maybe they semi-automized, but this was still much controlled by the humans. And this kind of transformation that's taking place, it needs to be gradual. We cannot just one day say all the people are going to stop doing what they were doing for 20 years, and something new is coming. You need to understand it in 1 month or 2 months and start working with that. It'll take time, so we are starting from what is familiar, not to scare them, and also to make it successful, so that they will understand immediately how to work with the new stuff. All of the complexity is hidden. What is presented to the operator is what he's familiar with.
Cool. I would imagine that makes the adoption a lot easier. You enrolled everyone in the process as opposed to being a contentious kind of process. Okay, that sounds, I think that's a great lesson for everyone in terms of how do you approach this, either whether you're a partner talking to customers or whether you're looking to roll things out.
I can also add, for our experience, guys which are been configuring equipment for a lot of time, basically you can pick the type of interface which you would like to do. If you are more skilled in Cisco, you can have interface with the Cisco, so it's user-friendly,
Cool. Yeah, I think a lot of folks like with NSO, they can use a Cisco interface or a Juniper-style interface. It helps cut down on the angst.
Helps a lot.
Yeah. So you also made the statement. I'm going to paraphrase a bit. Now that you automated, you guys can stop doing stupid things and start doing more interesting things. Yeah. So have you started to notice that with the team in terms of what kind of things are they able to spend time on when they're not chasing VPN
more
problems?
Deep dive analysis about traffic, maybe deeper troubleshooting. Now it's possible even more. Before NSO you have only CLI and the guys on the phone from the other side and trying to reach what is going wrong. Now it's more easier. Basically. Yeah.
Cool. So one of the things I liked, which I thought was very well done, you had a very structured, progressive plan. It wasn't just we're going to do automation as much as, step by step, here's specific goals. So what do you see as next? You've got some great success, you've got a good foundation. Where are you heading?
Okay.
Yeah,
both of you. Yeah, I mean that's for both of you.
A lot of ideas.
Yeah, there's a lot of ideas. From my perspective, we're moving to the final goal that everything is automated end to end.
Yeah.
Okay.
But we need to get there in specific steps.
Okay. So the roadmap you talked about, do you think that's your pathway to success? Do you see that as the big overarching roadmap for this, or do you need to build upon it?
Exactly, and that's something we had a kind of maybe not a formal but informal understanding from the beginning that this is the way how it's going to go. Okay. And in my slide, I intentionally put the stepping stones, because if you go left or right, you will fall into the water, and then you need to follow the path to success.
And I think it's fair to say everyone's going to fall in the water occasionally and get their feet wet, and I think that's okay. That's part of the process. You make some choices, and maybe they don't work out. Exactly. You learn, make adjustments, and move forward.
But we are always having this final goal in our minds where we want to be.
That's good. I think that's good. You have a North Star, and you make adjustments.
Exactly.
So I think maybe last question for this. So as a partner, this was one success story, but you have a lot of, you work with a lot of customers on a lot, some projects work great, some projects are learning exercise, right? what are the 2 or 3 things that you think when a customer says, "Hey, we want to do this great automation stuff"? What do you want them to understand up front?
As I said in the morning, the most important thing is to understand is that this is transformational. That this changes everything, and once you do this kind of transformation, there's no going back. So, old ways of doing things are not going to stay here long, and 90% of the project is getting the people to understand that this is what's happening, and then when they adopt this new view of things, then everything gets much easier.
Okay. That makes sense. So I lied. I'm going to ask you one more question. Goran, I think for you, so transformation is a great concept, but it's also scary. It can kind of be squishy too. There's a lot of hand wavy.
Exactly,
We're going to boil the ocean and grow unicorns.
That's our, as I see, as our role in this is to show it to them exactly what they're getting.
Okay.
Seeing is believing.
And for you, was that an easy conversation with your boss? And was there easy buy-in, or was there a little bit of?
One of the easiest one.
Really? Okay,
Yeah.
that's good to
Why?
hear.
Because I work in network production department, and people have a great knowledge about configuring IP transport equipment. Once they saw this is, let's say, a tool which they can utilize fully, which is, let's say, user-friendly from the day one. If everything is very good defined in it, of course. They even told, why didn't we have this years before, So this is a nice plus, when you pick one new tool, it's always pros and cons, why to use this, why don't you have. But the guys who are doing everyday work, hard work, night shifts, who have a lot of competence in that, what they're doing, if they recognize the benefits, then this is a successful project overall.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
So I think I'll wrap up there. Thanks, guys. Thanks for making the trip, for kicking things off this morning, and then sneaking up your number between you and cocktails. So I appreciate that sacrifice as well.
Yeah. Thank you for having us here.
Oh.
Yeah. Thank you.
Go forth to use your drink tickets.
Okay. Thank you.
So while we switch speakers, so one of the results. So the reason we're doing this partly is to give you a little more detail on the speakers, but also to make you aware we have everything that we've done is broken down into video streams. Great session. Everything will be posted shortly on our YouTube channel. So head over there. I'm assuming there'll be some YouTube posting magic, and there'll be links and stuff. Once you see this, but great session on in terms of what these guys have done. Today we also covered some product updates for workflow, for NSO, and then we have the tracks in the afternoon. So things on service development, things on net DevOps, and then things on operations. So part of this is just to be a teaser and get you interested in the follow-up sessions, and definitely check out the morning session. So as we're doing some tag team relay on the fly, are you solo or did you bring a friend?
We'll see if we mix it.
Okay.
Let's get started and we'll see if someone pops in here.
So just so you know, this is not our day job for either of us. So I just want to set expectations. So you talked about NSO 6.1 today.
So basically, I covered the NSO update, which is covered like the 12 latest months since we're trying to do a recap since we did this event 12 months ago.
Yep.
And for the audience. So that was my focus, basically, and I also covered the stuff that we don't have a deep dive on. So my favorites are in the cloud friendliness, as we call it, for NSO.
Okay.
Brief.
So of all the things, so I mean, I know you've been doing NSO briefings for, I'm sure you feel like it's for forever. What do you think the thing is that doesn't get enough attention from the customers? I mean, there's a lot of new stuff that's packed into 6.0 as a whole, 6.x as a whole.
So we talk endlessly about the major performance improvements and throughput improvement that you will get with your existing code.
Okay.
But then when we talk and interview customers, two things is that many customers talk about the documentation, pretty basic stuff, and then we realize they don't reap the benefit of our latest updates.
Yep.
So that's a common denominator. And then, of course, all customers are interested in what are the intricate details they need to take care about if going from 5 to 6. We talk today about quite a lot of corner cases. Very interesting, but for most of the use cases, it's more a standard upgrade.
Cool.
So those are the things,
Cool.
the major things as I see it.
Martin, what's your favorite feature? What's the thing that you are most proud of, coming from the engineering side? This is the thing you've nurtured for many months.
Yeah, what's on top of my mind is I did a demo today on how to migrate NEDs in service, but what came out of that, what I realized is how far we have come in the area of developer convenience, how much more of a pleasant experience it is to develop for NSO now. We both have the developer studio, the VS Code things that's coming, that's there, and it's a huge addition to the experience. And also, we are saying this a lot, but the online documentation is fantastic now. I consider myself a decent software developer, and I'm fairly used to making NSO do what I wanted to do. But
I hope you can, if anyone can.
yeah. But what I've done before is that I've had a set of examples for, like, this is how I implement an action in Python, this is an example service, this is a REST conf call with a path, and now in many ways I don't use that. I search in the documentation online, which is always there, searchable, and it's relevant. And when it comes to the other tricky part around which always the trickiest, writing your path correctly, regardless of if you use an northbound interface or a programmatic interface. But now you can get that through the CLI, so I don't actually have to go and read my own notes anymore.
That's cool. That's a great endorsement.
Yeah, it's really fun to develop now, I think, and I think it's very important to get to the point where you make NSO do stuff.
do useful stuff. Do the stuff you actually wanted to do. So you bring up an important point, right? So again, I'm going to pitch the YouTube streams again. The way things are structured, if you want to get a big picture, listen to Nils Petra's session. But then, if you want to see the detail of some of the things that we talk about in the morning, or Nils Petra talks about in the morning, a lot of those are embedded in the service developer track over the next 3 days. So there you get the detailed deep dive sessions on implementation, those kinds of things. I mean, I'm proud of the team, the work the team's done on 6. In a lot of ways, it's a release for our existing customers, right? A lot of the stuff that's in there is things that customers have asked us for. I mean, just like the package reload and those kinds of things. Even simple stuff like the Explorer and Release Notes Explorer for not just release notes for the NEDs and those kinds of things. So, any final words of wisdom?
Get your hands on the new software. It's out there.
So, for those that maybe don't know, how exactly do they do that?
So, if you're a newbie and you would like to try it out, you have a free version on developercisco.com/NSO. You'll find a download for free. For existing customer, you'll find everything we talk about regarding software on your usual download place, softwarecisco.com.
Okay. Any final words of wisdom, guys?
Well, you asked Nils Petter about hidden features or features that doesn't get that much attention.
Yeah.
And we're also talking a lot about observability, but what I like to point out is that we are continuously improving progress rates. We're making it more detailed, more relevant. And you don't need to go full ecosystem of stuff to use it. It's already there. You can get it out in logs or in CLI or in text files. So even with what you were running today, you can get a huge lot of information which helps you debug and develop your services and profile them. And that's something that we should push more for.
No, that is a very good point. Okay, guys, so off to the bar with you too. Yeah.
Thanks.
Drink
Looking forward to it.
You have earned it.
Yeah, thank you.
And I think I have one more set of interviewees. So while we're swapping people out again, I'll put in a plug for another piece of what we've done from a developer support perspective is our developer communities. It's a great resource. If you have questions, you've just downloaded 6.0, you want to understand how to do something, you're trying to take advantage of a feature, you don't know what to do. We have our, most of the development team and most of the engineering team sits on that. The product management team sits on that. We have a lot of manageable customers. So it is a great resource to take advantage of if you're, you pull down the software, you want to play with it. Okay, now we're going to move up the stack a little bit, and so Lou's joining us. So Lou had the pleasure of doing the worldwide premiere of our workflow product.
Yep.
So
thank you.
And joining us also is Vishakha, who is going to who covered the highlights of CNC product. So one of the things we've done over the last couple of years is expand the scope of what we cover in developer days, and not just talk about developing on top of NSO, but things like net DevOps and kind of more of the process flow piece of that, and then just tooling. So that's why we have you two, to talk a little bit about both of those. Again, we had good overview sessions, and then we have detail sessions across the next 2 days. So Lou, for workflow. Apparently we should have, done a little bit more with the demo gods today, but things came together.
Well, the way it goes is if you spend your entire career never having a problem with a demo, you just haven't worked hard
your
enough.
product's not doing it on itself.
So we had our moment today,
Yes.
and it was more like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
But
Poor Dimitri. Dimitri needs a drink.
and it's really sad because the problems were environment problems.
Yeah.
Right. The web the studio hadn't set up the WebEx correctly. Then there were some problems with the remote environment and so forth. But the nice thing about the demo is that it showed off not only the two adapters that I talked about this morning, the REST adapter and the NSO adapter, but it also introduced an AWS adapter that we built. And just to give you an idea of people might get scared about the idea of building an adapter. That one was built in 36 hours.
It's good.
From the time I made the request to the time that it was built, 36 hours. So it was pretty quick.
You're going to get free to run for money on the net turnaround at this rate.
And then the other adapter that we showed in the demo was to WebEx Teams.
Yep.
Because one of the important aspects of a workflow system is being able to message to human beings.
Absolutely.
Right. And so that adapter actually showed messages coming out on WebEx Teams. So that part of the demo worked.
Yeah, I think the thing with workflow is it's not just the northbound, southbound conversation, right? There's a whole horizontal conversation that needs to happen, and that's part of why we had the adapter strategy, because people want to connect to, ServiceNow or WebEx or Slack or whatever. So Vishakha, you had a very dense session.
I did, yeah.
So, and it's kind of cool, right? There's an immense amount of stuff that's in CNC, and I think you did a great job kind of giving us the highlights. So maybe take the opportunity. I know we've got a lot of folks here representing different parts of that over the next 3 days in the operations track. You want to give folks an idea of kind of some of the deeper dive sessions they might want to check out over the next 3 days?
Yeah, sure. So today we had a deep dive session on how to bring up CNC on AWS, which is something, it's a little bit out there, but it is something that we're seeing customers warm up to more and more. And we have a customer that wants this in production also. So it's a sign of the changing times. Another sign of something similar is Paula's session that's going to happen tomorrow. She's going to talk about service health monitoring and how to actually get the best out of your network and how to have those best practices in service health monitoring. Later on Thursday, I think there's going to be a session with Paolo, and he's going to talk also about best practices with CX. And talk about a very big customer for CNC. So there's a lot of deep dive sessions coming in. Today's session was very much grab and go, barely scratch the surface, but there's a lot of CNC that you're going to see both in these sessions and also on Cisco's automation portfolio stuff, so stay tuned.
Yeah, today was like a lay of the land so you can kind of get an idea of scope. So 5.0 just dropped or is dropping sometime real time?
I'm fully jet lagged, so it either already dropped or is dropping
in
today.
some time zone. It's
in
dropped.
some time zone.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I just asked this to my guys. So what's your favorite feature in 5.0?
My favorite feature, tree sit provisioning.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's really cool. I think this is one of the things where we worked super closely with the XR team. And what customers want is a feature that comes in together across networks. They don't want it on their boxes first, and then you want to wait. You don't want to wait for 6 months for it to come on automation. So we're kind of completely in lockstep for a lot of the treated things, and it's very exciting because multicast is a completely new beast, and we're tackling it very efficiently, and it's gaining a lot of attention. Yeah.
I'm not sure how new. I remember it giving me nightmares in my CCIE lab, but yeah.
It's new for crosswork.
Okay, it's new for crosswork. Okay. So Lou, how about you for workflow? What's your favorite feature?
Oh, that's hard to say. I mean,
The
favorite feature is the first release.
Yeah.
Right?
That's a fair answer. It's out the door.
It's got a lot of good functions in it.
Okay, cool. So I think in your session you talked about if people want to play, they can go to the Cisco website, to the Crosswork website, and get signed up for a demo. Lou, for workflow, if someone wants to play, how do they get their hands on it?
The sales folks can get you tied in with our dCloud system for demos.
Okay.
Otherwise, the account managers can reach out to us, and
Okay.
we provide a demo license.
Okay. Awesome. Any final thoughts from either of you?
Go crosswork.
Okay.
I'm very happy to be here.
With that, let's wrap for today. Again, all the live streams for today will be posted shortly. Go check those out. Also, tomorrow starts off, big topic for tomorrow is sustainability and how automation and networking play into that. So some really cool sessions in the morning, so come back tomorrow. But for now, I think all three of us are going to go use our drink tickets.
Yep.
Thank you for joining. Thank you for watching.
Thank you.